What's up, everyone? Sergeant Rurik here, and today we are continuing our reaction to the Russian Empire Summary on a Map by Geo History. Where um, we left off at the end of Napoleonic Wars when Napoleon decided to invade Russia. So yeah, let's continue.
Country.
Oops, let me go back a second.
That he cannot count on Russia, and
oh shoot, is the audio even working? Yeah, it is.
So prepares to invade the country. In June 1812, Napoleon...
Oh yeah, this is like... The voiceover guy is like... I recognize him. I don't know where he's from though. Oh yeah, he's that guy from like Meet Arnold or something like that. And then, I don't know, I feel like he was also another thing. Anyways.
Napoleon and his armies enter Russia, hoping for a quick victory. But the Russian armies avoid confrontation and retreat, forcing the French to go far inland. At the gates of Moscow, a bloody battle finally takes place, after which the Russians withdraw, leaving Moscow to the French. But the city is deserted and burned. Napoleon desperately tries to get a peace treaty signed, but Alexander...
Wait, I'm gonna get my salami. Be right back. Okay.
Alexander doesn't follow through. Finally, Napoleon is forced to turn back, while an exceptionally harsh winter decimates his army. Harassed by the Russian armies, Napoleon barely manages to flee the country with a small part of his army. But Alexander I...
You know, I don't like how these videos never mention that Napoleon and his army, when they invaded Russia, actually took many more losses in the summer than the winter. Everyone always talks about the winter, and it's really annoying. Because, you know, dysentery happened in the summer, and they had a lack of supplies. And, yeah, that was much more... And it was all muddy. That was much more harsh than the winter, arguably.
Continues the war in Europe, and he's joined by Prussia, Austria, and Sweden, while the French are driven out of...
Oh yeah, Sweden. Fun fact, leader of Sweden at this time was actually a former marshal of Napoleon.
Spain by the English, Portuguese, and Spanish armies. Alexander the First and his allies enter Paris and obtain the abdication of Napoleon. In Vienna, the victors meet to draw new borders for Europe and restore the monarchies. Alexander I, having played a major role in the fall of Napoleon, acquires a large part of the Duchy of Warsaw, which retains a certain autonomy. In addition, that same year, he creates the Holy Alliance, whose mission is to ensure peace in Europe. Russia triumphs on the European
The Holy Alliance? How long did that last?
level. Meanwhile, in America, the fur trade develops under the influence of the Russian-American Company. After the death of Alexander I, successor Constantine refuses to take the throne. His brother Nicholas then becomes the new emperor. But as soon as he takes power, he narrowly avoids a military coup. In response, he strengthens the autocracy and surveillance in the country.
What? They're just gonna go over that? Like, they're just gonna go right past that? What happened in the coup? Or the whatever? Like, why did it happen?
Balkans, the Ottoman Empire is undermined by Greek insurrection. Russia takes advantage of this and provokes a war. The Russian army is getting dangerously close to Constantinople, but Nicholas I knows that France, and especially the United Kingdom, are not happy with the rise of Russian power and would not let the capital be taken. After the signing of a peace treaty, Russia consolidates its presence on the Black Sea. In 1830, several revolutions break out in Europe, including in Poland, where the Russian army intervenes violently, provoking discontent in the continent. The emperor then strengthens his alliances with...
The like morality of like Britain and France is kind of hilarious, to be honest. Like, they're out here colonizing like Africa, for example, and like especially Belgium, causing the deaths of millions of Africans and having slavery and stuff. But then Russia puts down like an insurrection or something, or a revolt, and they're all angry at them. Like, I don't know, it's just so weird. Like how they claim to have like the moral high ground.
Prussia and Austria, and obtains a defensive alliance with the Ottoman Empire. With his western borders secured,
Oh look, Greece is independent. Nice.
Nicholas I is able to concentrate on the Caucasus Mountains.
Uh-oh, I probably angered like a lot of Turks with that comment.
Where many, mainly Muslim peoples fiercely resist the Russian invader. In Europe, the Holy Alliance is challenged by the rise of nationalism. Everywhere, people rise up, aiming for more autonomy, fearing the spread of...
Ew. Why does Austria look like that? Like, why is it Galatia? Why does... Okay, whatever.
Revolutionary ideas in Russia, Nicholas I supports his allies. The Austrian Empire, on the verge of implosion, receives precious help from the Russian army to quell the Hungarian Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
After new tensions, a war breaks out against the Ottoman Empire. The Russian armies win on land and on sea. But this time, France and the United Kingdom intervene and declare war on Russia. For their part, Prussia and Austria, despite their alliances, remain neutral. The Russian troops withdraw from the Balkans. In the Black Sea, the Franco-British fleets dominate with their recent steamships. After a military landing, the better-equipped coalition armies beat the Russians. After the death of Nicholas I and the peace signed by Alexander II, Russia realizes that it's far behind in development in the military, economic, industrial, and agricultural spheres.
Yeah, you think?
The new emperor decides to reform and modernize the whole country. He first accelerates the development of railroads to facilitate
are we gonna get in like the Siberian Railroad or something?
Access to remote regions and their resources. In the Far East, taking advantage of China's decline, Russia pushes back the border to the Amur River.
Rude.
Alexander II then frees peasants from serfdom, but they are now linked to their communities and must go into debt to buy back the land they cultivate. The emperor also reforms the army.
Oh, wow. So, Russia had like slavery this almost like until about America they did slavery. That's interesting.
Educational system.
Well, I mean, I think serfdom is slavery. I think they're like the same thing. Yeah.
Governmental administration, and the justice system. In Central Asia, Russian conquests are bringing the country closer to the rival British Empire. Fearing a new war against the latter, the emperor decides to sell Alaska to the United States, considering the region too difficult to defend. In the Balkans, insurrections undermine the Ottoman Empire. Russia takes advantage of this and, after a new war, imposes the independence of new states. But the European
Dang, Bulgaria looks humongous.
European powers refuse Russian supremacy in the region and meet in Berlin to review the treaty. In Russia, the population sees this as a German betrayal. In addition, the situation is complicated for Alexander II. His numerous reforms are causing discontent. The peasants don't have total freedom, and the nobles have lost their privileges. The development of industry gives rise to a working-class community whose working conditions are very difficult. Finally, the Russification of the empire is done at the expense of the many minorities that represent a third of the population. Revolutionary movements rise up, some become radicalized, and Alexander II becomes the target of attacks. After several failed attempts, the emperor is assassinated in 1881. Jews are accused of being involved in the attack, which provokes a wave of pogroms throughout the country and pushes millions of Jews to flee to Europe and the United States. The new emperor, Alexander III, wants to revise his father's reforms and restore a strong autocracy. In Europe, after the signing of an alliance between Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy, Russia becomes increasingly isolated. The country then approaches France, also isolated since its defeat against Germany in 1871. The two countries sign an alliance. In Russia, the construction
Oh, goodness.
of a Trans-Siberian Railway opens the way to the Far East.
Japan.
In 1895, expansionist Japan defeats China. The new Emperor Nicholas II takes advantage of China's weakness to obtain authorization to build a railroad that crosses Manchuria. But in China, a revolt undermines the Qing dynasty, and an
A Boxer's Rebellion.
international alliance intervenes to quell the revolt. The Russian army then occupies Manchuria, which provokes the discontent of Japan, which has its eye on this territory. In 1904, war breaks out and turns to the advantage of the Japanese, who dominate the Russian armies. The Baltic military fleet, after several months of navigation, is defeated by the Japanese fleet. The Russian defeat provokes a revolution. Workers organize strikes, peasants attack the property of nobles, and minorities demand more autonomy. Finally, a railway workers' strike paralyzes the country. With his back to the wall,
Oh no.
Emperor Nicholas II is forced to accept the establishment of a state Duma, that is, a legislative assembly, which weakens the autocracy. After bloodily crushing the last revolutionary pockets, the country's economy is revived. The production of iron, coal, and oil increases, which boosts industrial development.
Wait, what?
Production of iron, revolutionary pockets. The country's economy is revived. The production of iron, coal, and oil increases, which boosts industrial development. The
Oh, shit, we're about to get into World War I, guys.
standard of living rises and the country modernizes. Moreover, a rapprochement takes place with the United Kingdom in order to delimit the zones of influence in Central Asia. France, the United Kingdom, and Russia form the Triple Entente, which opposes the Triple Alliance of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. A total war seems inevitable. The powers are preparing for it. In the Balkans, the heir of Austria is assassinated by a Bosnian Serb nationalist. In retaliation, Austria-Hungary, supported by Germany, declares war on Serbia. Russia, which wants to protect the Slavs in the Balkans, decrees general mobilization, and in a few days, all of Europe enters into war. St. Petersburg, whose name has a strong German sound, is renamed Petrograd. In London, the members of the Triple Entente agree not to sign a separate peace. The Russian armies are pushed back from East Prussia.
I'll be at the Battle of the Battle of Tannenberg, I think. Hold on. Okay, is this gonna play?
But managed to move into Galicia. The Ottoman Empire joins the Triple Alliance and closes the straits, isolating Russia completely. In 1915, while the Western Front is frozen in trenches, Germany turns to Russia, where it seizes many territories. But here too, the front is frozen. Millions of refugees wander the country, while the war effort concentrates 80% of
Germany is crushing Russia right now.
Russia's industry to the detriment of civilian needs. Inflation and rationing put the population to the sword as the war drags on. The emperor and his wife become increasingly unpopular, especially as they're under the influence of the mysterious Rasputin, who's considered a
Oh yeah, also, oh my god. I need to keep doing these reaction videos. I'm like losing my knowledge of history. The leader of Russia at the time, Alexander, I think, right? King Tsar Alexander. Yeah, I think. Maybe. Anyways, he actually took command of the army while they were losing in this situation. Because he was like worried about his ego and stuff. He wanted to prove to everyone that he was cool. But, he did bad because they were in a bad position.
A charlatan. In Petrograd, strikes turn into uncontrollable armed revolts. Emperor Nicholas II is finally forced to abdicate, which marks the end of the Romanov Dynasty. A provisional government managed by the State Duma takes over. It tries to ease tensions.
What is the State Duma? What?
Government managed by the State Duma takes over. It tries to ease tensions, but chooses not to sign a separate peace with Germany. The war continues.
Why?
The discontent within the population, too. A few months later, during a second revolution, the Bolsheviks, with Lenin at their head, seize power and directly sign a ceasefire with Germany.
Oh, what's it? Why didn't it go over the... Wish I would have went over, like, the Russian Civil War, too. Anyways. I think we're going to have to do this video, the origins of Russia. Make sure to check that out. Also, guys, I have this extension, where it allows you to view the dislikes on videos. Let's see if I actually have it here. What is it called? No, okay, this one is cool. It lets you bypass paywalls. And this one allows you to, like, I don't know. Anyways, okay, that's weird. I don't care. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out my other videos, and yeah, that was a pretty excellent video. Anyways, bye. Hello everyone, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel, and you know, turn on the notification bell thingy. And if you didn't, then make sure to leave a thumbs down. But yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. And while you're at it, go ahead and watch my other videos. They're probably just as good, and if not better than this one right now. Except for my oldest videos, don't watch those. And, you know, subscribe to these people down here, my fellow sergeants. They're other YouTubers that I either know or I have in high regards. Yeah, even my cat agrees. So, thank you for watching, and have a great day.